What's up, guys? David Land here, bringing you another NASCAR Authentics Spin Master diecast review. And today we've got, as you can see, Wave 4 of the 2014 assortment of NASCAR diecasts. Nationwide, a brand new NASCAR Icons casting, the Zest Fully Clean car, Ty Dillon. It's a great wave. Before we get into that, make sure if you like this video to give it a like. Be sure to subscribe to me on YouTube. I do all sorts of NASCAR Authentic stuff, and I do a lot of stuff relating to racing. If you like this kind of stuff, you'll like my channel. Also like my Facebook page at facebook.com/DavidLand on YouTube. Also give me a follow on Twitter at DLand91. It's a lot easier to contact me through Facebook or Twitter. YouTube, as I've stated in other videos, the comment section is not very good. So the best way to get in contact with me, talk to me, ask me questions about NASCAR Authentics and just racing or whatever in general is Twitter and Facebook. So without further ado, man, I'm excited. It took me forever to track down this whole wave for you guys, but I'm so glad that I can finally present it in all its glory. So here we go, close-up time. All right, let's launch right into it. And right off the bat with a new segment for all you junior fans out there, fast food. I'm not really sure why Spin Master felt the need to do another segment, but hey, I'm not going to complain about that necessarily. It just means more cars. And there are a lot of food sponsors in NASCAR. So here we go, Dale Jr. in the Diet Mountain Dew 88. This is my first Diet Dew car. I didn't pick up any of them beforehand. There has been a Gen 6 release of the Diet Mountain Dew car before. I believe it was in Wave 2 of 2013. I never picked it up, but there are some differences which I understand. Of course, we've had another junior car this year, the Daytona 500 winning National Guard car, which will be going away next year. And I drop it on the floor immediately. That's what you do with collector's items, kiddies. Alright, let's open this guy up. Of course, I believe Junior will be sponsored by Nationwide Insurance next year, as they leave the whole series behind in NASCAR to sponsor a driver. So there you go. There's your value. The value of the Xfinity series, what they're now going to be calling it. Does that mean that Spin Master will be changing the name of their segment too? It'll be the Xfinity segment next year, provided we do get Xfinity Cup cars. Okay, there's the car. Haven't done this in a while, kids, so... So here's the box. As you can see, the new fast food segment, light blue, the name and signature. Alright, let's take a look at the diecast. And there you go. Diet Mountain Dew. This is, Junior's been sponsored by Mountain Dew for quite a while at this point. I mean, I remember back in the day, it was weird not seeing him in a Budweiser car. But now it's a lot, it's kind of the opposite now. Everybody knows him as the guy with the National Guard and Mountain Dew car. And of course, this gigantic National Guard sticker. So you'll have to upgrade this car next year. Sorry, Junior fans. Of course, you see the window sticker, the nameplate on the window has the Chevy logos, which it did not have on the 2013 car. Also, the Valvoline logo. This car is available in the Toys R Us Hendrick Motorsports 5-pack. So if you want to get caught up on Hendrick Motorsports, there's 2 exclusive cars in that segment. Pictures are on my Facebook page of it. Yeah, that would be, if you don't want to pick this car up as a single, it might be a good idea to pick up that 5-pack to be able to get it. Alright, so that's Dale Jr.'s Mountain Dew car. I almost called it a National Guard car. And here's a collector's item for the NASCAR Kids segment, which is strangely, since it's a food car, why is it not in the fast food segment? I'm not going to, well, but it's cereals for kids, even though I eat Frosted Flakes more than I probably should admit I do. Carl Edwards, who will not be driving the 99 car next year. Of course, we've had 2 Carl Edwards released in the Gen 6 format. First, this Aflac car has been released twice already. And the Fastenal car was released with the Gen 6 body, which I unfortunately never picked up. So, boo-hoo on me. But that was before I was pretty serious about the NASCAR Authentics. But there you go. Roush Fenway Racing. He will be driving for Joe Gibbs next year in a Toyota. So let's open this guy up. And we haven't had a NASCAR Kids segment car in a while. I think the last one we had was Carl Edwards, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Affleck car. So I don't. Does Carl Edwards appeal to kids? Why are all his cars in the NASCAR Kids segment? I don't understand that. So there you go. Cool paint scheme. I like this. Red, all the primary colors. It's very kindergarten-y. Gotta, maybe that's why it's in the NASCAR Kids segment. You gotta learn your primary colors, kids. But yeah, nice looking box art. Let's take a look at this car. I do believe this was a race winner this year, correct? Bristol, maybe, or Phoenix. I can't remember. Maybe you won both with this car. But this is a nice addition to the collection. I'm really happy to get it. And that means the 99 car is going away next year, right? The 99 car has been a staple in NASCAR since the 90s, since Jeff Burton. So it'll be this car marks the end of an era, assuming they don't release another Carl Edwards car. I like the graphics. It's a little messy. Now I'm criticizing the paint scheme, not the die-cast. The die-cast looks just fantastic. It's a great representation. But the paint scheme's a little messy. I wish it was just a Cheez-it car or just a Frosted Flakes car. But of course, you know, you want to get more brand value. Whoever Kellogg's wanted to get more out of this, so I'm sure they wanted to put Cheez-it and Tony the Tiger on the car. So as you can see, Affleck and Fastenal. And I haven't looked at the bottom of the car in a while. So there you go. Carl Edwards, NASCAR Kids, the 99 car, which is going away next year. And another driver in this segment will be taking that car away from him. We'll get to that in a second. Now, a new addition to the line. A lot of people excited about this, and I think it has a lot to do with that number right there. Also in the NASCAR Kids segment, Austin Dillon. Now, what I find funny or strange is that, as you can see here, right here, you've got his like logo that some graphic design student made. That's usually on all the other NASCAR Authentics, except for the ones where the driver is deceased. You get their signature. Now here, we don't have one for Austin Dillon. And the only conclusion I can come to is that Austin Dillon can't sign his own name. So we've got the graphic design student put his name and logo there, just so Austin doesn't have to learn how to spell his name, or you don't want an X there. But this car was actually one of the first 2014 paint schemes revealed. Actually, it was leaked, I believe. And people said, no, that's not. The people who were in charge of it said, oh, it's not a real car. It's a test. But that proved to be false. A lot of backlash for apparently, I don't remember because this is a while ago when the paint scheme leaked. But there was a lot of backlash to the fact that the 3 was in black, had black behind it because of the obvious association with Dale Earnhardt. I'm of the opinion that no matter how famous your number is, as I drop some plastic on the floor, I'll get that later. No matter how famous your number is, you know, there comes a time when other people should be able to run it, you know. So, you know, I prefer to remember Dale Earnhardt not as a number. I would prefer to remember him as a man. So I don't have a big deal with people running the 3 in NASCAR personally. But here's the car, and I'm really happy to add Austin Dillon to the collection. As I've said before, you know, I like my back markers. I like guys who aren't necessarily up there running at the front. But yeah, I kind of wish it was the Dow Jones car, the one that qualified on the pole for Daytona. But maybe we'll get that car in the beginning of the year, next year with Daytona, because they released those Daytona 2-packs at the beginning of this year from the 2013 Daytona 500. So maybe we'll get lucky, and maybe they'll release it. Nice looking car. It reminds me of something, but I can't put my finger on it kind of reminds me of Marcus Ambrose's car. who will not be in NASCAR next year. He's going back to race V8 Supercars for Roger Penske. So there you go. That's something interesting. So yeah, Cheerios, NASCAR Kids segment, Austin Dillon. I gotta move my boxes around here. Now here's the Robbie Noonan and Danica Patrick favorite Future Stars segment. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the Zestfully Clean car, the number 17 for Roush Fenway Racing. Great looking car, and I'm really glad they chose to package this with the Future Star segment because it goes the purple here goes very well with the dark, indigo. I'm going to call it indigo because it's not really dark blue. It's a little bit more purpley than that, and definitely looks purple on his racing gear there. So yeah, and of course we've had a Ricky Stenhouse before in the line. We've had the Best Buy car, which was released around Christmas last year, Wave 3 of the 2013 NASCAR Authentics. So obviously, good time to get an update for Stenthouse. And I certainly I'm a big fan of the paint scheme, as I almost knocked my camera over. I'm not having a good day today. I don't know what the deal is. Not being successful at this today. Having all sorts of issues. Did I forget how to do Dicecast reviews? I don't know. There you go. There's the box. Future Stars segment, number 17. Alright, let's take a look at the diecast. Alright, right off the bat, you get the Zestfully Clean logo, Stenhouse Jr. There's something you shouldn't follow on Twitter. Zestfully Clean. Zestful, good lord. They put that all over this car, didn't they? This is the first time I've ever owned a Zest diecast. So, that's interesting. Nationwide Insurance sponsors the car. I love the paint scheme. This is a great paint scheme. It's clean. It's simple. And it's got colors that you don't usually see. I'm a big fan of this car. Big fan. Those are the kind of cars I like to see. It reminds me of the cars of my childhood, the much more simple paint scheme NASCARs. You know, some people may like this, but I think it's a little messy. You look at something like this, it's kind of clean. It's got essentially two colors, really three with the darker teal there, but yeah, I just love it. Love the color scheme, love the teal. You don't see teal much, and you don't see indigo much on cars. So it's a good combination. Nice input to the line. I'm a big fan. All right. Let's move on to the second in the Nationwide Series segment. A lot of people excited about this, and this is a first for Trevor Bayne, incredibly. Of course, on that famous poster, the infamous poster, I should say, from 2013, they were planning on doing a Wood Brothers 21. That never happened, unfortunately. And now with Trevor Bayne moving to what is used to be the 99 car, I think is going to be the 6 next year. That means maybe that car will not get released, which is unfortunate, especially because they released a hauler. And speaking of haulers, once I get the cashola, I'll try to review the second wave of haulers for you guys, because that video's been taken off. It's gained like 5,000 views in like 30 days, so but it's popular apparently. Alright, so here's the Advocare Ford Mustang, and I must say this is probably the wave with the greatest variety in terms of cars. Unfortunately, we don't get a Toyota in this wave. But that's the only current issue, aside from the Aero Coupe Monte Carlo and the Toyota are the only two cars that are not represented in this wave that are currently manufactured by Spin Master. So there you go. There's the box, and as you can see in the background here, the box for the 22 discount tire. In fact, I've got that car right here. We'll do a little comparison because there's some subtle differences between the two cars. here. Same casting, as you can see before. You got some teeth there on the bottom. Red, white, and blue. Advocare. Advocare has been around for a little while in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. I have to admit, I am not the biggest fan of the series, especially considering that most of the time you get Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch, excuse me, winning 90% of the races. So it's kind of hard for me to get into the series. So I'm not quite as up to date on some of the drivers, sponsors, how long they've been around. But I think Advocare's been around for maybe 6 or 7 years. I think there's probably a sponsor. Is there a sponsor that's supposed to go here, guys? That they left off for maybe licensing reasons, perhaps. But comparing the two cars, it's nice to see that they've added the Nationwide. They've updated the Nationwide logo to be more accurate. Big props to them, because I actually was gonna harp on them. I missed the fact that the Nationwide logo was incorrect on the Joey Logano release, but thankfully the problem was corrected. As you can see, it's actually looks like they've updated the graphics, Mustang graphics on the front. As you can see, it's a little bit more detailed in terms of the headlight stickers. On the side, pretty much the same. And on the back, it seems like pretty much the printing. Come on, focus. Pretty much printing is the same. We do have a black spot here. I don't know if that. Yeah, it's on the other side. So that's part of the livery. Again, I got to point out, these things have, they paint the doors on. That's kind of chintzy. I don't like that quite as. I think that's kind of silly, personally, but that's a Nationwide problem. That's not a diecast problem. All right, one of the cars I'm most excited about, and it's about time, they released one of these in the COT, on the COT mold. They haven't gotten to this car until right now. Jamie McMurray, fast food segment, which actually kind of makes sense. You know what would be awesome if they released BK Racing in this segment. BK Racing in the NASCAR Authentics 2015. BK Racing for the NASCAR Authentics. Love the McDonald's collar scheme. Not the biggest fan of the restaurant anymore. But yeah. The only problem I have with this is the number 1. NASCAR forever has never been big proponents of the number 1, or not proponents, but they just don't care who runs it. I'm of the opinion, and it's probably because I'm a snob who watches IndyCar and Formula 1 and the World Endurance Championship way too much, but I think the champion should run number 1. Just a personal preference. But yeah, this is also the first Ganassi racing car that NASCAR Authentics has done, well, since Jamie McMurray. It's the first one we've gotten in over 2 years. And this car in 2012 was so hard to find. It's up there with the Kurt Busch and the Danica Patrick Nationwide car, which they did make. It was an Impala that somebody, I don't know who, well, maybe I'll give them a shout out, pointed out to me. They did an Impala. So there is an Impala casting. The problem is that the Impala is a backmarker Nationwide car now, if it even runs anymore, because all the Chevy teams have mostly switched over to the Camaro body. So here we go, McDonald's, the McCafe, number 1. I like the fact that they did straighten up the number 1. I didn't like it when it was all curvy, or not curvy, kind of italicized. And this is showing up a lot more red on the camera than it is in real life. But it's a nice looking paint scheme. I'm a big fan. I kind of like the Bill Elliott paint scheme a little bit more. But I like that this is subtle. It's pretty much a red car with an arch and the black logo. So it looks nice. It's simple, and I like it because it's simple, and then my brain doesn't have to work too hard to figure out which car this is. Jamie hasn't had a very successful season. I haven't heard much from him at all. Does he even have any wins this season? Somebody let me know. I don't think he does. I think he was in the running at one point, Maybe got taken out of a race or something like that. But I'm really happy to see this car. Now this is interesting. You never they call him Big Mac. It does say Big Mac right there. If we can zoom in, yeah, there we go, Big Mac. Jamie McMurray, of course, if you've seen him in real life, is quite small. So I don't know why they should be Little Mac, but they don't have a sandwich at McDonald's called Little Mac. Nice looking car. Very happy with that. And here is the this car gave me the most problems. I could have had this video out 3 weeks ago if this car had not been as hard to find as it has been. The Richard Childress NASCAR Icon segment. Holy smoke, this car was hard to find. Actually, thankfully, my mom's really cool. And I was like, hey mom, guess what? Okay, so I'm looking for this car. Showed her a picture of it. And so she calls me yesterday and says, hey David, they just stocked the NASCAR Authentics at the store I'm at. You know, which car were you looking for? I'm like, oh my god, Richard Childress, red car, number 3. It's the one that doesn't look like the other ones. And so she bought it. So she got me the final car that I needed to do my NASCAR Authentics review. So shout out to my mom. She's awesome. Thank you so much. Richard Childress. This is the 78 Monte Carlo body. As some of you are aware, we've had 2 other cars in the NASCAR Icon segment. This, Wrangler Jeans, number 3 car from Dale Earnhardt, and the Goodwrench number 3 car. This is the Aero Coupe. I think this is a Monte Carlo as well. So yeah, this is the third car at number 3. Thankfully, it's not another Dale Earnhardt. It is a Richard Childress, which is interesting. It's a nice bookend to this wave with the Austin Dillon 3 car. Yeah, so let's crack this thing open. I'm so excited. This is by far my favorite segment in all the NASCAR Authentics, bar none, because I just love classic race cars. I love the history of the sport. I love being able to have that history in miniature form. So let's take a look at the collector's box first. Obviously a prototype. It's got chrome wheels. Yeah. So there's the box. Of course, a little bit of damage there. Yeah, good looking box. RCR, of course, was the team that Richard Childress Racing was driving for. He drove for himself. He was an owner-driver. And then when the opportunity arose to hire Dale Earnhardt, he stepped out of the seat, and the rest is history. So great looking car. Let's take a big look at this as it's a new car. As you can see, CRC Chemicals is the sponsor. Not sure if they're around anymore. Of course, this was when NASCAR was much more a southern sport. So stuff like crop chemicals would be prime demographics for NASCAR cars. Not so much anymore. As you can see, the white Goodyear Racing Eagles, the classic associate sponsors like Die Hard, Unicall 76, STP, just fantastic. And as you can see, a chrome rear bumper. It's not actually chrome, it's painted silver, but it would be chrome on the real car. There's the, as you can see, the 3, which is on the side, is not italicized font, so that's what your Dale Earnhardt 3 looks like when it's not italicized. There's the other side of the car. Just great. Just very classic. Look at that front end. I can't imagine that's very aerodynamic, but back then that was when stock car racing really was stock car racing. If the car was not the dimensions of the stock car, you didn't go racing. You know, Chevy SS's do not really look like this, but this is pretty close to the 78 Monte Carlo. I mean, of course, it's much lower and it's much more aerodynamic within the body constrictions of the original car, but man, I am happy to add this to the collection. Now, speaking of NASCAR Authentics, for next year, they say, Spin Master says this is the last one for this year. I don't know if we're going to get another wave. Wave 5 is coming out. I do know that. but I don't know if we will get another wave past Wave 5. So Wave 5 might be the last for 2014. But for 2015, I really like to see another car that would go on this body style, and I'll let it come up right here. That car was on this body style, and I hope and I pray and I'm wishing to the whoever is in charge of Spin Master NASCAR Authentics that they make that car. And for the Aero Coupe, this car. That car right there. I mean, that is absolutely, that screams classic NASCAR. And boy, oh boy, if they could get the license to that one, it would be amazing. So let's head back in for a close-up, and we'll wrap this video up. So guys, that's been the Wave 4 review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, like me on Facebook and Twitter, as always. What were some of your guys' favorite cars from the Wave? I can definitely tell you, I'm a big fan of that Zest car, big fan of that McDonald's car, and you know I love those NASCAR classics. But what are you guys looking for? What are you guys looking to pick up? Are you having trouble finding particularly this car, but any cars from the Wave? Because I sure as heck had some problems. Be sure to let us know. And also be sure to let any information, if you have any information to Wave 5, or if you'd like to see me do some more holler reviews or anything on the channel, let me know in the comments. If you want to talk to me personally, like I said, Facebook, Twitter, I usually respond if I can see it. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything. It really means a lot to me that you watch, share, like, and subscribe, because it keeps me doing this. So until next time, guys, see ya.